Hi everyone. Today you will be reading like a scientist and doing some research about magnets. So I want to show you a skill that is going to be especially important when you do some of this research today, and it's called cross-text synthesis. I know it's a big fancy word, but it's actually pretty easy to do. Let me show you what it looks like on the informational reading progression. Here we see the skill of cross-text synthesis from our informational reading progression. So it says, when I read two texts or parts of a text that teach about the same subtopic, I can find the information on a subtopic from both texts or parts of one text and put that information together. So you can see in the image there to the right, there's two different books, and it's kind of like putting those together with your own thinking. So for my reading today, I've picked two of the resources that were linked on the magnet resources here. Okay, so the first one is the Magnetism book on Epic, and then the second is the Magnets and Magnetism article. So I'll pop over. Here's the book Magnetism. Okay, and I'm going to show you how, where was I? I'm going to start with what is magnetism here. And in this article, I'm going to read what causes magnetism. Then I'm going to take some notes on each one, and then I'll show you how I kind of put those notes together to establish my own thinking. Okay, so first up we have the book on Epic called Magnetism. Let me read it and then I'll take some notes. A magnet has an invisible force called magnetism. Magnetism makes magnets stick to other magnets or metals such as iron and steel. Metals that stick to magnets are called magnetic metals. Most refrigerator doors are made of steel. Paper clips are also made of steel. Look how well they stick to a magnet. What other objects around you might stick to a magnet? Okay, so there's a few important details that I want to pull out of that, and I'm going to write them in my notes. Okay, let's read the next page. The force of magnetism doesn't work on all metals. Try holding a magnet to a copper penny or an aluminum can. You will see it doesn't work. Copper and aluminum are not magnetic. Okay, so the important part in that page sounds like not all metals are magnetic. Okay, so to keep this short, I am just going to read the introduction from this Magnet and Magnetism. So I have it written on my page here. I also, this is important, I wrote down the source, right? So the source is where we're getting our information. My first source was Epic Kids book, this book, and my second source is this article from Britannica Kids. All right, introduction. A magnet is a rock or piece of metal that can pull certain types of metal toward itself. The force of magnets, called magnetism, is a basic force of nature, like electricity and gravity. Magnetism works over a distance. This means a magnet does not have to be touching an object to pull it. Okay, so I am seeing some connections between what I read in that introduction and what I read in the Magnetism book. Let me take some notes here, and then I'll see how they connect. Okay, so now I have these two sets of notes, these two pieces of sections of information. Now I want to do some cross-text synthesis. So just a reminder of what that means. I've read two texts, or parts of a text in this case, that teach about the same subtopic, which is like magnets and what they're made out of. I can find the information on a subtopic from both texts, and I put that information together. So here how are this information connected? What is similar? What can connect? And then how can I use my own thinking to kind of write a sentence or two to show how they connect? Well, I'm noticing that they are talking this force and force, right? So magnetism is a magnet's invisible force, and it is a basic force of nature. Magnetic force can work over a distance. So this seems to be a lot about the magnetic force, right? And then, yeah, I think that's really what synthesizes this information together. So let me write that down. Okay, cool. So here I've taken this information, I've taken parts of information from here that were all about magnetic force, and I kind of did my own thinking to put it together, right? This is called cross-text synthesis. Yay! Okay, now you've seen how I read two different informational texts about the same topic, take some notes, and then synthesize those notes to find connections between the two different texts. This is what I want you to practice today when you are reading like a scientist, okay? Try your best, and we'll talk about it in our afternoon science groups. Bye.